Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 96. Welcome back. I have a lot to share. And I don't know where to begin. Okay, so typically, I prepare topics to discuss in advance, and I go ahead and go straight into it. But with me, for every podcast, I like to keep whatever I'm talking about fresh. Okay, fresh to what's resonating with me at the current moment, what's been resonating with me lately. And I don't want to just go off of a script. I want to go off of my feeling, my energy, my body, and all that. So, some of these topics that I've had prepared for this episode since like last week, which explains which doesn't explain why I didn't release an episode then, but I had topics prepared, but there was a lot of things that came in between that messed up releasing an episode last week. So my apologies. I need to do better on prioritizing my time better. So I'm not even gonna give excuses. I'm not even gonna explain. So I do apologize, and I thank you to the listeners for reaching out to me and asking me, where's episode 96? Hold me accountable. Hold my feet to the cross. I appreciate that. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So with me, I've been pretty transparent and pretty authentic on my podcast and just on my journey in life, just because I just don't see why you should be anything but yourself, why you should be anything but transparent. And like, what the fuck is wrong with her? No, okay. So I am in this little situation with someone, and I'm gonna call her. Yes, the pronoun is a her. I'm gonna call her LL Bay. LL Bay. I give everyone, all of my niggas, a bay at the end, even though some of them don't deserve bay because bay is too endearing, but it just sounds cute. And I don't know where to begin with you all about this situation, this relationship, this friendship with this person, with LL Bay. I feel like I there's something in me that awakens when I'm with her. I don't know where to begin, y'all. It's just like, what the fuck? So I feel like and I've been keeping this to myself for the most part. Only like a few, literally two people, one whom I'm not friends with anymore. So I've told her at the time when me and LL Bay were kicking it. Um, I shared with this former friend of mine, and I've also told another friend. So literally very, very few people know that I've even dabbled in the lady pond, as they say. And I think it's just, I feel like it's like a bomb drop that I'm giving people with this information, because it's like, wait, what? And I feel, because, and here's the thing, this has been 2 years in the running. Like, what? What do you mean, Maxine? It's been 2 years in the running, meaning that ever since I moved here, I became acquainted with LL Bay like a couple of months from my move. I met LL Bay, and once I met her, y'all, it was just an instant, oh, okay, I need to get to know this bitch. Like, oh, okay, I like her. Like, I just like her presence. I like who she is. I like how I feel when I'm in her presence. I like how she makes me feel. And it's all of these things all in one. And there's something, I think the best way I could describe it as is when I'm near her, when I think about her, when we're in each other's company, I feel something in me is awakened. I feel open. I feel safe. I feel liberated. I feel heard. I feel and I feel present when I'm with her. And it's just I don't know what to begin. I feel like y'all listening like, wait, bitch, what? And the instant question is like, wait, so are you gay? Are you bi? Are you I don't people like to say, oh, I don't like labels. I don't like labels. I really don't like labels because I just don't, in my circumstance, I don't subscribe to labels because it's not like I am looking at women in general in a sexual or romantic way. That's not it. With LL Bay, it just so happens that she's a woman. Like, it's literally just like, it just so happens that she's a woman, and I just like her still. Like, it doesn't deter anything from me. It doesn't make me want to stop. It just, okay, you just happen to be a woman. Like, it's just it's nothing. It just is what it is. And I've realized with myself, growing more into who I am, into my adulthood, into my essence, I just don't want to give a fuck anymore about what others say. And I think it's so easier said than done, right? Of course, living in a new area where I can create the world, create the life that I desire and that I feel safe in is easier when you're in a whole new state. You know, it may not be as easy if I was back home. If I was back home in my Haitian household, religious Haitian household, ain't no area to explore sexuality. There's no space to have even a conversation about that. And so when I'm with LL Bay, and even just in the vicinity of her, something within me awakens. And I think the questions could be like, oh, well, so were you always gay? Or, and even saying always gay is giving the impression that I don't know. Again, I don't like labels. And to answer that question, no, because I can't recall a time when I've been attracted to the same sex, the same gender, and um explore that. Like, I can't, because there hasn't been a time with that. LL Bay just so happens to be a woman. It's literally just that, and that's the best way I could explain it. I remember talking to my a former friend of mine, and I was just saying like, yeah, so I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, this person's a woman. And she's like, okay. And so I was just explaining to her at that time, she just so happens to be a woman. It just so happens that I like it just literally so happens. It so happens that way. There is this call that I have towards her. There is a captivation. And I think I don't want to put too much thought or structure or just a plan around it, because I know how I am. I'm very much of a planner. I'm very much someone who is likely to talk every little detail out, when instead I just want to be. Okay. I just want to be, whatever that BE is. I just want to be. Okay. I just want to be in your presence. I just want to be in a space that makes me feel good. And I just want to be in that. Like, it literally is just that. I think sometimes with us as humans, in the society that we're in the dynamic relationships that we have with different people, in the religion that we may have grew up with, in the mindset that we were conditioned to adopt, we complicate things more and more in our lives because, oh, well, we got to be, if you're a Democrat, you got to be with Democrats. You can't ever talk to or even engage or entertain marrying or being close with someone who's a Republican. How could you even consider that, right? Same with sexuality. The exploration of sexuality, especially for Black people. I don't want to talk too much about the obstacles that it is for Black men to be sexually explorative, because that's a whole different conversation. And I'm not a Black man, so I can't exactly describe the plight in that, but I do hear that it is a plight. And so my heart goes out to that as well. But I want to just speak to specifically to Black women in general. It's just this, it's difficult for us to explore our curiosity. It's difficult for us to explore what we find to be attractive, or just attractive for us, because we feel like we have to explain ourselves. And I've come to a point in my life where I am more in a space where I don't have to explain anything. I just am, right? I just am. I'm just being, I just am. And that's the period. That's the end of the sentence. That's literally it. And I remember being, growing up, always feeling like, and always being pressured to have an answer, to explain myself, to appease to others. And it's hard to drop that completely. So I'm not, I definitely have understanding for those of us who are still feeling the need to explain who they are to people. And I just don't want to do that anymore. And I'm making conscious steps in just being myself at all times. So I just, I think about my situation with, and let's start from the beginning, because you're probably thinking like, wait, when did this begin? Like I said, it started 2 years ago, me and her, and it's kind of a complicated situation because I don't know. She got a little something going on, and that's all I'm gonna say. Y'all put the pieces together. She got a little something going on, and we know when niggas got something going on, that means something else is going on. Okay, and so that was an obstacle at that time. And to be honest, I think I was also dealing with my own internalized homophobia. I felt like um there were moments I could say I put my own self in the way, because I was just trying to dismiss these feelings that I have for her, because of the perception that it will give, because of how I was raised, and what am I doing? Oh my gosh, what if I bring shame to my family? And yes, though I am living here on my own, it still is, or still was, a thought in the back of my mind. Now I can't say fully that that thought has completely subsided, but I could say more that I am more comfortable with just being with LL Bay, and understanding that, some people may react, look at me in a way, look at us in a way, um, or go with their own thought process about it. But I don't care enough to explore that conversation with other people. And so, also, living in this space, living here in Houston, just the environment that I'm in, there is more of an openness, more of an acceptance to just be whoever you are. And so I do see plenty of homosexual people around me who are just being. And like I said, I don't really know what to label myself. I don't like labels, so I'm not even going to lean into a label. But the point of what I'm saying is there is more of an acceptance to just be whoever the fuck you want, right? To be with whoever the fuck you want. And so I think that has also pushed me to allow myself to just continue to explore whatever it is with LL Bay. But even before that, like, even though I am in a space where it is more accepting of your identity, more affirming of your identity, your sexual explorative identity, um, I was still going to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. Like that's the type of person I am. I just, when I'm interested, and I will make that clear. Like, I go after what I want. And LL Bay was and is someone I want. So like I said, when I first met her, I was just captivated. And how can I explain it more? I just, there is an understanding with her that I just enjoy. I don't have to explain myself, right? I could just be. And like I said before, I love being with people and being in a space where I could just be, where I don't have to put on an act, put on this facade, and you accept me and celebrate me just as I am. So I value that so much. And it's just her presence. She is I know she doesn't like to say positive too much. But there's people around who are just genuinely a positive being. Like they make you feel like, there is hope in the world. Like there is just this energy that some people possess that is just positive and that's attractive. So it's the conversations that we have, it's the understanding, it's the attraction that I have for her. And it's vice versa. And I just like that, and I just want to be in that, and I want to explore that, and wherever it takes us is it's where it takes us. And so I just think this is where I'm at. And LL Bay is someone who is special to me. So that's really what it is. I can't deny it. And I think some people may be thinking, well, so where was she, throughout these different moments in your episodes, right? Where did she have I don't know if you guys would peep many episodes ago. I said a comment. I forgot which episode it was, but it was a while ago. I said something like, I specifically said, I really want to be with this one person, but I can't. And that's who I was referring to. I was referring to LL Bay. And the reason why I said that at that time, the opportunity to be with LL Bay was not present, meaning she and her little situation that she had going on was so well in my face that I didn't feel comfortable and there was no room for me to build with her. I hope that's making sense because I'm not trying to give much of her background on here because I do like her and I really and I respect her. So like she's not like these niggas because y'all know. Can we begin? I will give y'all the name, the first, last, social, the address, the blood type of these niggas. But LL Bay, it's a precious thing. So at that time, I did not, the opportunity to be closer to her was not available to me. Now that the opportunity is seemingly present, it's just I am more in a space where I just want to continue to be with her. Whatever that looks like in whatever capacity, I just want to continue creating a space with her. And so and y'all, I can't describe. Let me try to think of a time when I was with someone. Okay, so she's the first woman I've ever been with. So let's just start there. So every person that I refer to is previous to her has been a man. Okay. So when I think about all the men I've been with, and let's just say it's been a lot. Okay. Regretfully. So I know we like to say have no regrets. Bitch, I have a couple. If I could reduce a good chunk of the bodies that I have in my account, I would. I would. But you know what? Don't live life with regrets. There's a lesson in everything. Sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you just continue to just do the same dumb shit. Like this and sure that's a lesson, but no, sometimes you didn't need to learn that lesson. Sometimes you could have taken that day off from school. Okay? So I could say the men literally, let me try to think of any man who I've slept with, like just slept. I'm just talking about like sleeping, snore, like rest slept with, like been in their bed. I've never experienced the feeling of safety with those niggas. I, can we start? Can we start from the beginning? Because I'm literally trying to think of a time with one of these niggas, one of these something niggas that I've been with. I can't tell you a moment when I felt safe and free and comfortable and just be with any one of those niggas. And I don't want to say, when I say safe, I'm not saying I feel like I was in danger. No. But there is this sometimes, sometimes men don't know how to be vulnerable. They don't know how to be uh affirming, encouraging, supportive, emotionally intelligent. Like a lot of the things that women are more likely to know more than men. Men don't know. So when it comes to cuddling, right? We think cuddling is just this easy easy task. It's like this easy set of, you just go into it right before or right after actually you have sex, right? And it's not that, like, there's a science to cuddling. Let's just say that there's a science to cuddling. There's a science to holding somebody. There's a science to being in someone's body. And I'm not even talking sexually, y'all. Like there is a a chemistry that you can create with someone's body, with your body towards someone else's body, physical body, when you are with them. There is a chemistry there. There is a chemistry that you can create. And when we are not in tune with our body, when we are not in tune with our feelings and just with ourselves, we are not likely able to experience a strong level of warmth with that person. Yeah, I'm talking deep because it is that deep. We're not able to experience a level of warmth and safety and comfort with that person. So when you have these niggas who are emotionally abusive, who are emotionally distant, who are ghosts and Caspers, it's not likely will I feel comfortable in their bed against their chest while we're cuddling. Not likely will I feel comfortable with them because they're not here. Like their body may be here, but they're mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, they're not present with me. And so that's what I mean. When you're with someone, are you with them? Like, can we just sit back and talk? Are you with them? Do you hear what they're saying? Are you present with them? Is your body in tune? How does your body feel when you're with this person? Do you feel safe? Okay. And I'm not like, again, I really want to reiterate, I'm not saying, do you feel in danger? Do you feel like he's about to hold you hostage? That's not what I'm saying. I mean, bitch, maybe in some part, that's relative. But the point is, do you feel at peace with this person? Do you feel close and heard and affirmed? All of these key words are essential. And I can't say I felt those feelings and experiences with any of those niggas in the past. I can't say that. And that explains why I have not experienced a truly joyful sexual experience. I haven't. And yeah, I fucked a lot of niggas, but not one of them really made me feel safe. Not one of them made me feel really at ease and peaceful. A lot of these niggas out here are just out here getting in a nut and they go. So when you have an experience with someone who is present with you, who is literally in the room with you, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, there is this new world you go into. And I hope I'm making sense to somebody. I know I'm using like so many metaphoric ass words. I'm an English teacher, but there's no other way to describe it. And so I also want to make it clear, because I think oftentimes when seemingly, again, I don't like to do labels, but seemingly straight women are now dipping into the lady pool, there's this stereotype that, oh, well, they fucked all these niggas, now they want to just try something new, they're done with these niggas, they've been hurt so much by a man that they want to try a woman. Like, it's just coming, like they're just doing this because they've been so bitter by men, they've been made to feel so unsafe by men, they've been made to feel so unwelcomed and unloved and just completely abused by men. And that's not it. Like, yes, I've experienced many moments when I felt emotionally abused by men, and that's real. I can't take that away from my experiences. But me engaging in a relationship with LL Bay does not stem from me being done with these niggas. Like, fuck these niggas, now I'm just gonna be a lesbian. That's not it. That's really not it. It's just, I just am with her. I just am. And that's the sentence. And so I was watching an episode of Lovecraft Country. Can I tell y'all, this show is heaven? Okay? Like, Jonathan Major, who is the one who played Atticus, baby, that big nose, that strong, accentuated dick. Like, I'm done. It's like, wait, the fuck, you just talked about LL Bay. Are you gay or are you not? It's not that. It just is. Please understand where I'm coming from. So anyway, Lovecraft Country, there's an episode called Who Are You Uninterrupted? Whew, let that sit, because that is so heavy. Who are you uninterrupted? Who are you when there is no oppression? Who are you when there is no discrimination against people like you? When there is no judgment against people like you? People who may like the same sex, people who may dress and walk the way you do. Who are you when there is none of that? Who are you at home? Who are you in your body? Who are you? So when you're interrupted by society, by your parents telling you, my child can't do this, you can't do this and still be a woman of God, you can't like this woman and be a woman and still love God. Who are you when people don't come in and interrupt you from who you are? Um, that is a real question that everyone should sit with, no matter what sexual spectrum you fall under. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a sexual thing. It's just, who are you, period? Are you typically a confident, strong person, but when you're in the midst of some white people, do you silence your voice? Who are you when there is no racism in the room? And when we get in touch, when we find the answer to that, right? When we embrace the answer to that, that is when we could truly be intentional about who the fuck we are, and be that at all times, and not allow others' interruptions get in the way of who we are. So I in that episode, what's his name? So Atticus's father, what's his real name? Y'all know him. He's the black actor who has a scar right under his eye. He was actually in The Wire when that show was on, and he has played plenty of gay roles. So this nigga, who the fuck are you uninterrupted? Who the fuck are you when the lights are off? Sir, when the lights are off, who are you? Do you know yourself? Because these gay roles, he be playing the shit out of them. Like, okay, we get it. No, so he is, during this time, it's 1950s, not like around that time era. And of course, gayness, right, is not affirmed, is not encouraged, is not accepted, and especially for a black man. A black man who is a father, who was a husband, his wife has passed, and he has a grown kid now. And his kid, Atticus, they have a strenuous relationship because while Atticus was younger, his father used to whip him and used to whip him whenever he acted soft, quote unquote, whenever he did not appear as a seemingly macho man. And so he always whipped him because he wanted to straighten him up, discourage any possible way for him to become gay. And you find out, obviously, that is just his own internalized homophobia because he is, in fact, a gay man and he is just hating himself and is expressing and projecting that onto his son. So all of that is just like, okay, boom, we understand. That's unpacked. So we actually learned, yes, that he is actually a gay man, right? Maybe if we don't want to do labels, but let's just say he likes having gay sex, okay? And so he was in a relationship with this, I guess, well, at that time they didn't have the language of transgender, but this woman, well, trans woman, so a man who has transitioned into a woman. So he was in a relationship with this woman, and I'm saying she because that's her pronoun now, but she is or was a man. So I just follow along. So anyway, he is attracted to her, very much so. And he would attend these transsexual, transgender fashion show nightclubs that happens on a particular night. And he would stand in the crowd, super uncomfortable, super tense, it's very stern, like, oh my gosh, I don't fucking talk to me type, like very unapproachable, very standoffish. But we learned that's just simply because he's not comfortable in his skin, right? He's not comfortable in who he is because when he's interrupted, right? When he's interrupted with the world's homophobia, there is this discomfort and this hatred that he has for himself and for the people around him who are more bold to be themselves. There is also this jealousy there. So when he looks at this woman, this trans woman who he is so very much attracted to, and they obviously have a relationship history. So they will kind of go back and forth with each other. And the next scene, he fucks the shit out of her, okay? From the back. And I'm watching and I'm like, oh, that's who he is uninterrupted in his full glory. And while he was fucking her, there was this pain and release and joy and it was just a complex of emotions all released in that moment. And shame was a part of that too, because there is still a shame there that he carries for being a man who is having sex with men. So all of that just packed into one, and we find out in the next episode, I believe it was the very next episode, that his son finds out that his father is actually gay, and there were rumors around the town, but he didn't want to believe at the time, of course. But all of that is just, that was 1950s in that time era. And yet there is still that fear and homophobia to this day. Yes, it's not as heavy, not as strong as it is now, as it was then to now. So the whole Jussie Smollett, that nigga is a lie, okay? Of course, there are communities that you may be in that are still operated in an archaic form and fashion. I totally get that. But Jussie Smollett, no. Okay. No. The answer is no. I still don't believe you, and you should still be ashamed of yourself because I don't like what you did. But when I think about that question, I try to apply it. I look at everything that I watch, that I encounter, and I try to see where does that fit in my life. And I think about LL Bay, and I think to myself, who am I uninterrupted when I'm with her? And who am I uninterrupted when I'm with myself? And I purposely say with myself because I see myself as a being, has an existential being, because I consistently communicate with myself. I consistently meditate and sit with my thoughts, sit in my body, sit with my dreams, aspirations in life. I am present in my body, in myself. And I love that feeling so much. And when I'm with LL Bay, I feel that same way. So it's an amazing feeling to experience that fullness with myself, right? And to get the opportunity to experience that fullness within myself while I'm with someone else. That is a power that I just cannot deny. And I just can't act like my feelings aren't feelings. And I can't act like my feelings aren't real when it comes to LL Bay. And I don't want to let my own conditioned homophobia to come out and uh be in the way when it comes to us. I don't know where things will go. I don't know, but I know right now I am being with her. I am present with her, and that's where I want to be. That's literally that's the tweet. Um I and I'm also hearing in my head, there's a lot of people who are not where I am as far as this transparency, as far as this acceptance of myself more and more. And there's a lot of people who are still battling their own fear of being their full self, of exploring these maybe taboo feelings. And I don't even want to use taboo when it comes to that because I think it's so foolish to use taboo when it comes to same-sex relationships. What taboo should really be is pedophilia. That's what taboo should be, right? So that's a taboo thing. Like, what the fuck? Taboo should be pedophilia. Taboo should be rape culture. Taboo should be incest. That's what taboo should be, not taboo for a consensual same-sex situation. But that's just my thoughts. We all have our own grip to grind, but I understand that there are a lot of people who are not there. So there is still some compassion that I have for people who are still trying to find themselves in this world that we're in and trying to be who they are, yet they find it more safe currently to play a part, to play a role. So I have the privilege of living on my own and living in a space where I can create the life that I want for myself. Yet I still also have this understanding and compassion for those of us who don't have that privilege yet. And I still have that somewhat of a fear or let's say discomfort when it comes to me walking in my full essence because I know not everyone in my life will be in support of that. So I think about my family back home. I don't ever plan to have this conversation with them. Like, that's not even a plan. What? Because I don't even know what the conversation is. Say if me and LLB really do go the long haul. Let's just play pretend. I'm not opposed to it, right? I'm not opposed to it. I don't know exactly what her situation is in light of me being more of her only one. Let's just say that. But let's just say me and her continue further along this path. And it's just me and her, right? It's not no polygamy ass shit. I'm not interested in that. But that's a whole different conversation. Let's talk about that later. But the point of what I'm saying is there is still this, I don't know, I can't prepare for what's to come exactly. And instead of preparing every little detail, yes, there's, some beauty in that, but I also want to just be in the moment, present in the moment, mindful in the moment at all times. I want to continue to practice mindfulness. And so, if me and LL do cross that bridge of continuing with each other and it be a serious relationship, a serious monogamous, let's make that clear, relationship between us, I'll cross that bridge when I get there when it comes to sharing that with more people in my life. But there is just still this, I just feel and trust and know, and maybe it's my negative thinking, but I just can't imagine some people in my life to be accepting of that. I had a conversation with let's just say family member. Okay, I don't want to be too specific. But I had a conversation with a family member a while ago, and I was sharing my ideas and goals and um aspiration of how I want my first house to be. So my situation right now, currently, I moved out of my apartment and I leased it for the past 2 years since I moved to Houston. And I have a strong goal to become a homeowner, to own my own house. And I decided, you know what, let me see if my uncle's okay with first allowing me to return to his home and stay here until I am ready to purchase my first house. And thankfully he agreed. And so that's where I am currently. That's my home situation. And my goal for my house, I have just this image that I have for my house, and I want to fulfill that I want to see that in its fruition. And so, how people have these dream goals, these dream houses that they have for themselves. They want a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom, they want a garage, they want an island kitchen, they want X, Y, and Z. And I was sharing my ideas, my goals, not even ideas, this is my plan. This is exactly what I'm working towards. This is what I'm saving for. This is what I'm looking for. And I know it's possible for myself because I believe it so. That's where it starts, right? First, you got to believe something is possible for you, then it's possible, right? So it starts there. So as I was sharing that, and let's also add on to that, once you believe that you could do it, you could do it. And let's also understand that when we see other people experience and live in a fashion that you are aspiring to live in, that also motivates you to work towards there, right? You see that has more of a possibility. I think when we don't see something in our face, we think it's unattainable. And when you see something in your face more, you realize, oh, wait, I could do the same thing. Why not me? Why can't I? And as I was sharing my dream house goals, right? I was saying how I want my first house to have a balcony on the second or third floor. There are plenty of homes here in the Houston area that I'm interested in particular, that has that style home. And I was just being very detailed in what I wanted. And I don't even want to say what I'm saying is not over the top, because I feel like even if you do dream over the top, it is so. It is so. You can achieve that. It is so you're able to attain that reality. It is so. So I don't want to say, hey, you kind of dreaming too much. You dreaming too big. I am constantly bombarded when I look through my Instagram feed. I'm constantly bombarded because I particularly curate my feed in a way that is affirming for me. I've a couple of months ago, actually, I've recently, unfollowed certain accounts that I used to follow for years, but I've unfollowed them because they were not affirming for me. They didn't make me feel good. And I'm all about feeling good. And I'll talk about that in a bit, but I curate my account in a way that I look at things consistently, that motivates me, that speaks life unto me, and that is something that I could work towards. It's not just a fantasy thing. It's something that, oh, wait, I could put two and two together to achieve this goal that I have for myself. And I'm always seeing dream big, right? Dream bigger, God saying dream bigger, all these things. And I also feel like, as someone who is a believer, okay, let's start there. Because oftentimes Christians like to put you in a box, but yet, as a believer in God, there shouldn't be a box, right? If we're putting each other in a box, we're then putting God in a box. We're then discounting what God could do in said person's life. So when we discount people's dreams and make them feel like, okay, girl, you dream a little too big, there is this that's the sin. That's what should be taboo, right? Not no same-sex relationship, right? That's what should be taboo. That's really what it is. Anyway, I'm getting to the point where I was sharing my goals with a family member of mine, and as I was being detailed and enthusiastic, I was so joyful in sharing my dream because I literally see it in my head, y'all. When you spend time with yourself and you daydream about the life that you want, and you're living it, right? Or you're almost there. There is this joy that you have to, one, continue to dream, because hey, God could keep on going. God will keep on going. This could continue. I can achieve this. It's not just something I just have in my head. No. The reason why I'm thinking of it, because it is so. It will happen. That's how I believe. And so I'm all about dismantling self-limiting thoughts, self-limiting speech and language. So when I was sharing my dream house goals, this person responded to me and was like, okay, I just think, okay, you're doing too much. You need to be realistic and just get a house that's within your budget and da da da. And I just sat there and I felt crushed, y'all. I felt crushed. And this is family, and it's unfortunate because even though someone's family, not everyone, I want to say, have your best interests at heart, but not everyone sees you how you see you, right? Not everyone has a goal for you the way you have a goal for yourself. And they may look at you with self-limiting thoughts and beliefs. And because they may see themselves as a limited being, they may see that they can't achieve X, Y, and Z. So why would I then preach to you, you could do anything, when they don't believe it for themselves? So there was this sadness also that I felt for that person. But I also felt crushed. Like, okay, damn, I would love to hear instead, that's amazing. I know you could do it. That's dope. Do you like ask me more questions? Be curious, be excited for me. And the details of how it'll be worked out is none of our business, honestly. When we ask, how oftentimes we will ask God, how are you gonna make it work, Lord? You said you gave me a dream. You confirmed this for me. But yet currently my reality right now does not match to that dream. How can I achieve this dream when right now I am so far off? And it's really none of our business of how God creates it to be. It's really none of our business of how he works everything out. Just trust that he will and continue to do what you need to do. Period. And so we give ourselves and each other disservice when we use limiting language, when we use limiting behavior and thoughts, when we perpetuate that, we are just sinning against ourselves. We're sinning against God when we're doing that. So it just, why did I bring this up? I don't remember. But my point is, we have to stand in who we are, uninterrupted. And when, yeah, that's where I was going, uninterrupted. And when other people have their limiting beliefs and mindset and goals, and they're just happy with just life just as it is, right? I'm just gonna stay here. Um, okay, but that's not me. And I don't want to adopt your way of thinking because you feel it's safe. So I believe that into my relationships with people. I don't want to adopt your way of thinking when it comes to how a romantic relationship should look like, because you feel this is not it. You feel this other way is a safer way, is the safe way. And so I continuously am standing in who I am uninterrupted. So, who are you when other people are not projecting their insecurities onto you? Who are you when other people are not putting you down because they don't think that far ahead and they're looking at you crazy for having these dreams? You know, who are you? Who are you when people are not in favor of your relationship, but you still want to feel how you feel with this person? Who are you? Stand in who you are uninterrupted. Consistently, we're going to be bombarded with people's biases, people's phobias, people's insecurities, people's limiting thoughts and behaviors. We have to continue to be intentional about who we are, who the fuck we are. Okay. And so when I'm with LL Bay, I am my full self. I am uninterrupted. I am. That's the period. That's the sentence. And so I don't want to, nor do I plan to stop what we have going on. So yeah, when I think about some of us may be asking, okay, yeah, when did this begin? You said it started 2 years ago. Da, da, da. Yeah, but we were kind of a, I don't know, like an on and off the kind of thing, kind of keeping it cool and chill. But whenever it kicks back up, it continues to awaken a strong feeling in me. And when I stand in that uninterrupted, I am living. That's the best way I could describe it. But anyway, let's talk about how she holds me, y'all. Oh my gosh. There is this this safety that I feel with her. There is this affirmation it's just this being. Like I am being with her. Like that's the verb. That's it. And so I enjoy that. I relish in that. And when I think about previous experiences with these niggas, I haven't experienced that. So again, I'm not with her because, oh, it's fuck these niggas. Let me just go ahead and become gay. No, it just so happens that she happens to be a woman. And we got this thing going on. And it's great. And I'm not stopping. But yeah, I think about, just the politics of it all and just coming on here and explaining, because I just didn't know first what to say. I was gonna share this with y'all. but I just didn't know what to say. And I felt like now more than before, it was pressing. I needed to share this because before it wasn't, I still had strong feelings for her prior. But now there is this stronger feeling that is developing with her. And I don't feel right to just continue to record and not say shit. Y'all know I talk about every little detail in my life for the most part. So why not? But yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, so I was, I was gonna go through the whole topic that I had for this episode, and but I wanted to keep it fresh, so I wanted to keep it fresh with whatever I'm going through in this moment. And so that's what it was, me just experiencing what I'm feeling for LL Bay. And I remember, okay, so let's talk about the relationship with her and how in the beginning stages I was thinking to myself, okay, what are these feelings? How am I feeling this way? Am I gay? Am I lesbian? Am I bisexual? What is it? I was really having a moment with myself where I had to check myself. I wanted to restrain from these feelings. I wanted to move away from them, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't. I feel happy. I feel happy. I feel joyful with her. And I don't want to deny myself from that just because of how it may look to those who are homophobic. And so or to those of us who are not as, because I don't even like that term homophobia. Yes, there are blatant homophobic people, but there are people who are not understanding of exploring your sexuality, exploring relationships and being curious and going through and allowing yourself to just feel and not being limited. Like when I say I don't like limiting thoughts, I'm not just saying it in a way that, oh, don't limit your dreams. I'm not even just speaking on that front. I'm also speaking from, don't limit yourself in experiences. Don't limit yourself in feelings because, oh, it's scary, or oh, how it may look to other people. I don't want to limit myself anymore. So it bleeds into every part of who I am. It bleeds into professionally, personally, romantically. I am no limit soldier. Okay. Master P. What's up? That's really where I am. And so when I am with her, I am limitless. That's what it is. um, hey girl, I know she listens to this podcast, so what's up? But there's this, there's this limitless feeling that I have with her, and I don't want to leave that. I don't want to leave that alone. So yeah, in the beginning of it all, I was feeling this I guess it was a identity crisis, like, oh my gosh, who am I? Think, because if can we just give this some context? I am someone who grew up in the church. Okay, I am Haitian. One, um, I grew up Christian. I grew up in a Baptist church, a Haitian home Baptist church. And when I say home, I mean everyone at that church is my family. And so there are, there's this pattern or this dynamic that is had in a home setting. You play a part when you go back home. What is that part in that family? Are you the youngest in the family? Okay. Do you typically are you typically the one who's not as honored in that family? You play that part in that role. There's a role that we all play in different parts in our lives. And, sometimes when we're with our friends, we may feel so strong and affirmed and seen with them. But when we're with some family, that is totally different. It's totally different. So when I'm with her, hold on, how do I get to her? No. So yeah. So there's this difference, right? So when I am in this situation, I feel like, there's this I forgot what was going on, so I got distracted. But there's this difference. There's this limited way of being when you're with certain people, and when you are finally able to be in a space where you can be your full self in all of its glory. There's a joy, there's a freedom in that, and that is where I am consistently am being. So yeah, I was going through this whole identity crisis. But I eventually got over it. Like I don't know how long it took for me to get over it. It didn't take me long because I just, like I said, once I like something, when I go after like something, like someone, when I am interested in something, whether it's a person, whether it's a pursuit of mine, I go after it. I don't hold back. I'm very determined. And so with LL Bay, nigga, determined, and I didn't give a fuck. So um that's really where it is. So throughout the years, me and her have been developing a strong friendship, and at the end of the day, she's my friend. That's really what it is. At the end of the day, we have a friendship, and that is something that I definitely appreciate and I cherish. So when we are also in a space where, but let's just be honest, sometimes people like to say, oh, well, he's my friend. He's my friend. He wouldn't be your friend if y'all weren't fucking. Right? Like, let's just say that. Because I've seen a lot of, people who are in relationships, and they would say like, oh, he's my best friend. But was he your best friend before y'all started being in a romantic relationship? Sometimes the best friend part don't come in until after a romantic relationship has been determined, So let's just be honest. That's what I'm saying. But there is a friendship there with LL Bay. I can definitely say that. But I'm not gonna just sit here and be like, it's just friends. No, no, no. It's more than a friendship, but there's a friendship there too. Like, we have a comfort with each other. We talk to each other. We develop a trust with each other. So there's a friendship there for sure. And right, in addition to, there is also a romance there. There is also a sexual and a romantic attraction there that also amplifies our situationship. It all comes into one. So when I am in her presence, there is this safety again that I am always going to refer to, because that's really what I look for when I am with people in general, not just on some romantic shit. It's just on some people shit. Am I safe with you? Do I feel comfortable with you? Do I feel affirmed with you? And if I don't, not often will I be with you. Okay? If with you at all. So that's what it is. I'm gay. I'm kidding. Plot twist. No, I mean, look, say what you need to say. But again, I don't really care for titles or labels, particularly. Not, I don't say titles, because eventually I do. I mean, I don't know. Let's have a conversation, because I was talking to myself the other day and I was thinking, I don't think I want marriage. And I don't know if I want to be in a committed relationship per se. And what I mean by that is, when I'm like, okay, if I'm dating you, or if I'm with you today, right, for 4 hours, we're out running errands, we're hanging out each other's homes, we're on a day, whatever it is, if I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm present with you. Okay. Like, we are in this. I'm not in a conversation with someone else. I'm not on the phone. I'm giving you that respect because I like you and I like your presence. I love this time. I love this experience with you, and I'm here. Okay. And I also think about, I also like other people. Like, I also like the what is it, the intensity, the chase, the fun that is had when I meet new people, whom I'm attracted to, meet and spend time with people whom I am interested in. So I think it's also like, I don't know. I don't really care for the word polyamory or polygamy, whichever one it is. I don't really care for that because I don't want it to be like a uh like a structured open thing. I just want it to be. I hope that's making sense. But anyway, but then again, when I think about LLB, if the opportunity arises for us to be in a, okay, this is me and you, I'll be interested. So it's like, it just, right now it's not there yet, and maybe it will be soon or later on the line, whatever it is. But I just know for me, I'm just being, and I like to be, and she is someone who I like to be with. So I'm there. That's where I'm at with it. I mean, let's look at this list of things I wanted to talk about for today. I mean, we are an hour and 5 minutes in. Can we talk about something real quick? Okay, so I'll just end off with this. I shared with y'all that I found a therapist, and I was happy about that because I've been trying to get that in order, and I finally did, right? So I had my first therapy session with her, and it was cool. Like, it was fine, right? But when I had another therapy session, and it wasn't even a therapy session, this other person who is a spiritual coach, who is like this life coach, spiritual coach, that's the title of the work that she does. And I liked I like a lot what she shares on her Instagram. Um, the way that she operates, I am really attracted to that as far as her work goes. So I'm like, okay, I like what she's doing. How can she be an assist in my life, in my journey in life? So when she was offering spiritual coach sessions, I took the opportunity to reach out to her. Oop. Oh, there goes Hello Bag. Hold on, let me just text her real quick. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. But when I was hold on. Are you back? Recording. So okay. Um, when I was yo, this is funny. But okay, so when I had my spiritual coach session with this person, I really enjoyed it. Like, I felt empowered with her session. And I had something to compare my therapy session to, because my therapy session, okay, it was cool. It was good. Okay, it was fine. But my spiritual session was the bomb.com. I say that because I don't know if it's a therapy thing, but I'm noticing that it was just, yes, it was just one therapy session, so maybe I'm just judging too early. But look, when you know, you fucking know, right? Can we just stop there? Like, you don't have to give it 3 more tries. If you know, you know. Okay, like, let's get more in the behavior of, when you know something, just go there. You don't have to, I just gotta give it 3 more chances. By the third chance, I'll know. No, no, no. You know now. And I just knew, after I had my spiritual coaching session, I just knew that my therapy session was null and void, and I don't need it anymore. Thank you, but next. Okay. So I say that because with therapy, there is this laziness that's the only thing I could describe it as, that the therapist presents. I don't feel like she really did anything. Like, I was talking. I was the one figuring it out. And here's the pro tip. I've already knew the answers to her questions, right? I already knew what the fuck was up with me that I needed to work through. Like, I already am aware of this. So being in that therapy session, I was just doing her work. That was it. when I tell y'all I am so self-aware, I am so in tune with myself. I like to be with myself. I talk to myself. I check in with myself. A lot of people don't do that. So I understand with therapy, the therapist could help you with that, right? But for someone like me, it's not really helpful. Like, you just telling me what I already know. So what are you doing? Like, how is this transformational for me? It's not. So then when I had my spiritual coaching session with another person, I felt empowered. Okay. And uh what she did in that session, I wouldn't even say she okay. So she had me in tune with my younger self. And I always talk about shadow work. I'm not always, but I've been talking about shadow work lately. And shadow work is um discovering the your inner child, discovering what you used to do, what you used to like before you became who you are today, and connecting with her or him and seeing where does the goals and the passions of your inner child, where does that manifest in your life today. And so I was sharing how, when I was younger, I didn't feel affirmed. I didn't feel listened to. I didn't feel heard. And I still carry that sadness with me because it plays out in some of my present day relationships, and it manifests in that way. And so I was sharing this survivor's remorse. Like, okay, great. I grew up, and here I am, 29, and I've accomplished so much, but I still feel like, damn, I wish that little girl was seen at that time. I wish when I was 13, my mother didn't abandon me emotionally. I wish that my father didn't lump his emotional baggage onto me. I wish that I was not just this person people will just dump their shit to and leave me be and never check in on me. And I would carry that burden, carry that weight with me uh to this day. So when I was sharing that with my spiritual coach person, she was making it clear to me that the things that we accomplish, we think that it is for other people. Like, okay, cool, you get your masters. Okay, that makes your parents proud. Okay, that's great. Okay, cool. But ultimately, we're really doing it for ourselves. And she made me realize, you have your own podcast. You have your own platform where you say whatever the fuck you want, right? And it's not just a podcast, but you are also committed to living a life where you are saying whatever the fuck you want. You are being whoever you are, and you're doing that unapologetically. And that is you giving kudos, giving reverence to your inner child. And yes, I'm like paraphrasing what she's saying, but that's basically what she said. And that's basically me recognizing that, yes, when I was 13, I didn't get that. When I was 11, I didn't get that. When I was 12, I didn't get that. But you know what? I have built that for myself to this day. And that's something I should be proud of. And that's something that I should hold precious to. And I felt so empowered when she was explaining that to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I did that. I did that for myself. I'm the shit. And not on some cocky shit. Again, whenever I say that, is for us all to give ourselves the kudos that we need, because a lot of us are insecure. A lot of us don't like ourselves. A lot of us don't like to be with ourselves. And that's what I want us to work towards, work away from. Actually, I want us to be confident and be comfortable in who we are. And when I think about LL Bay, right, in my situation with her, I want to continue to commit to being who I am, period, and not feel suppressed, not feel oppressed, not feel hushed and silenced. I just want to be, because that's what I wanted to be when I was younger. I wanted to just be my full self. I wanted to share my opinions and my thoughts. I wanted my feelings to be affirmed, and I didn't have the opportunity then. So me living my life right now as unapologetically, as without any excuse. I'm doing that for myself because I'm the shit and I deserve that for myself. And so when I think about everybody else living on, living living alive, um how can you commit to being who you are uninterrupted? How can you commit to showing up for your younger self? What did you need then that you can now supply for yourself? Or what are you currently doing that you haven't realized is your way of supplying for that inner child of yours? So, yeah, I cut my therapist off. And another thing, maybe I was also in my attitude, but I also, okay, so we planned for a second session, like right after the end of the last session of the first session. We planned for our next therapy session. And when that time came, I actually overextended myself. So I am to fault for that, but I overextended myself to different things going on. And I should have, in retrospect, I should have scheduled for a later time for this appointment. But I thought to myself, oh, I'm Superwoman, I'll figure it out. I don't, because at that time I was not on campus working back on campus. Instead, we were still virtual. And I thought that I could like figure it out and still finesse something. But I also overextended myself to something else, and that got in the way. Regardless, I actually missed the appointment, and she fined me. She did tell me that there is a fine print that I sign or I agree to, if I ever miss an appointment or don't reschedule before 24 hours to that appointment, that I do get fined just $35. But the point is, bitch, you can't just reschedule. Like, really? Okay. But I don't know. Because I was explaining to her whatever it was that I had to do, that is the reason why I can't make this therapy time anymore. And I just feel like she could have been a little bit understanding. Again, it's still, I take responsibility. Sure. I should have never overextended myself. And that was the lesson for me. See, I learned something there, Instead of saying yes to everybody, I gotta say, no, I have this going on. No, I can't make it. Sorry. So anyway, so yes, I have a little fine that I gotta pay off, but I said to myself, you know what? Do I even really want to continue having this therapy session with her? Because in comparison to what I had with my that spiritual coach person I had my session with, I don't want to continue with this therapy thing, because what the fuck, what did we do? You were just telling me things I already knew about myself. You didn't empower me. You didn't make me feel like a go-getter. Like, you just was just sitting there like lazy as fuck. Are you working? Did you clock in yet? Okay. So yeah, X-nay to the therapist A. I'm gonna end it here, y'all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for yeah, being with me. I take y'all through so many different parts in my life, and I know it's therapeutic for me, but I also hope that it is therapeutic for any one of you all who are listening, because when I'm thinking out loud these thoughts and sharing my experiences, I know I'm not alone, but I also know that not everyone is in a position right now in their life to be their bold self, to be their whole self. So I hope that in my bold way of living, I hope that it inspires someone to be whoever they are uninterrupted. All right, you guys, I'm out. I'll check in with you all next time. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This Podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.